Initiating moisture.
Welcome to the Moist Meter. Today we're taking a look at King of Staten Island. I actually had no idea what this movie was going into it. I thought it was a crime movie with Pete Davidson as a minor character, like a fucking getaway driver or something. But it turns out it's an entire movie about Pete Davidson, and the only crime in this movie is some shitty tattoos. It's really good though. I really enjoyed this. Now, I'm not too familiar with Pete Davidson's work as a stand-up comic. I'm only really familiar with him from SNL, and I fucking hate SNL, so it's not like I'm a huge Pete Davidson fanboy, but after this, I am quite a fan. His performance in this movie is really good, both on the drama side of letting you see how emotionally vulnerable the character is and letting you kind of feel that, and just the comedy side, because some of the jokes are actual bangers. Not every joke is great, not every joke's gonna make you laugh out loud, piss your pants, they're not all side splitters, but there definitely were a few that got a good giggle out of me from Pete Davidson and from Bill Burr, who's also in this movie with a big role. It's a talented cast and they do a great job. And this isn't the kind of movie I typically enjoy, these very character-focused pieces, because I feel they start to drag after a while, because a lot of it's just a character silently going through some very hard shit. But this movie does a great job of keeping it interesting with the comedy in it. And I think that's great. I do think it does drag a little though. Admittedly it's a little long. It's like 2.5 hours, 2 hours 15 minutes, some shit like that. So it definitely is a little long. And the entire movie is watching Pete Davidson be a fucking loser and try and figure his shit out. Like, how long can you watch a man be a loser? If I wanted to watch a loser for 3 hours, I'd watch my old high school basketball tapes. But it's still good, and I still really enjoyed it. And a lot of the time in the movie, you're asking yourself, well, what's the goal? Where is the movie going? And it's not till the end of the movie you realize there was no goal. You're just watching this dude try and get his life together. In the movie, Pete Davidson plays a damaged man who's lost his father at a young age, and he's having a hard time coping both with that loss and trying to figure out where he wants to go in his life. And then his mother starts to move on, finds another man who's Bill Burr. Bill Burr's got a girthy cock, according to his ex-wife. So now Pete Davidson needs to come to terms with the fact that his mom is moving on and is now riding a turbo dick from Bill Burr. And it's a movie that has you very invested in the characters. I think it does a good job with every character and their dynamic. I also just think Pete Davidson's character, Scott, is a character a lot of people that watch this movie can relate to. Mid-20s, still not sure the direction they want to go in life, and just being dealt a bad hand. And it's all about finding ways to overcome that and still follow a dream. Yeah, actually not really, that's a bit of a reach. The movie's genuinely a montage of Pete Davidson being high and fucking up until the end, when there starts to become more of a purpose and something to glue everything together. After witnessing, Pete Davidson getting rim jobbed with the consequences of his fuck ups, and he starts to finally find his footing and find a path. And I really just don't have any negative things to say about this movie. I enjoyed it. I had some good giggles. The only downside to the movie is its length. I think it's definitely longer than it needs to be. It feels like it was stretched out just for the sake of just getting a little bit more Pete Davidson, Bill Burr action in there, which isn't the worst thing, but I do think it is longer than it should have been. And I want to say again, I've mentioned it before, I love that the new movies are going to streaming instead of theaters, since theaters are extinct now, because I got to pause this movie and take a shit during it, which I just can't do if I went to a movie theater, because then I'd miss too much of the movie. So I have to hold in my shit like I'm smuggling drugs in my ass for the last hour of the movie, and then I have to drive home uncomfortable, fucking borderline shitting my pants the entire journey home. Whereas watching it on TV, just pause it, go drop my steaming loaf, come back, don't miss a thing. It is fantastic. So I think that's great too. Plugging this movie into the Moist Meter, I'm giving King of Staten Island a nice 85%. It's a movie that I really enjoyed. There's really nothing overly negative to say about it. I don't think it's like a must-see movie or anything like that, but I think it's a very good movie in what it wants to be. As a dramedy, it excels, in my opinion, and I think the character is a very strong character that I think will resonate with a lot of people who do watch the movie. And Pete Davidson, Bill Burr in particular, they absolutely crush it in this. So, yeah, just a good movie overall. That's it. See ya.